What up, what up, what up, what up, YouTube? We're gonna take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a side shift from the finance and political content that we usually do because there's something like major going on in the world, and this goes into us being tapped into everything. All right, so welcome back to the Bird's Eye View Show. If you haven't watched before, we give our takes on the craziest things going on in the world currently, and right now they found some huge structures 2 kilometers below the pyramid of Khafre. And granted, there's some other stuff below some other pyramids around it. So we're gonna get into this video, give some more information, give some opinions on what's going on. And I think this is really big for the biblical belief of a pre-Adam time lining up with science and history. So it's really interesting. Let's get into it.
Struggling to express in words.
Wait. If you think you're gonna get some value out of this, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and that bell icon. It lets the algorithm know that this is good content, this is valuable content, and it needs to be pushed further. All right, let's get into it.
How significant of a discovery this is. What has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza Plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who were studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. So this was used to explore the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high resolution full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology...
It's so kind of baffling that they found something like this up under the pyramid, because I thought they did these kind of scans already. Like, genuinely, I thought at some point, sometime, that there's already scans like this done, but apparently not using sound technology, at least,
are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock, in fact over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface.
I'm already starting to get a little bit of an inkling that Tesla was right about the functionality of the pyramids. And I mean, like, everybody knows, if you know anything about the pyramids, you know that they're built too perfect. They're way too hard to build with primitive tools. So like this could definitely offer another side to the story that I guess mainstream media or mainstream science has kind of been attempting to ignore. I mean, everybody speaks on how odd and how much of a question mark and red flag that the pyramids are for that time period, but it's like, outside of just stating that, you know what I'm saying, there's not really been any follow-up for it, and this discovery right here seems like we're gonna have some type of follow-up for that.
Of the ground. 2 kilometers. Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far. Utilizing high-resolution radar images from Capella Space and Umbra, which are 2 private companies that specialize in satellite-based synthetic aperture radar imaging. This has allowed researchers to create a 3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid. But the most shocking discovery lies beneath the surface. Below ground level, radar tomography has identified vertical cylindrical structures extending for hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid. There are 8 of these cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows descending to an astonishing depth
Jeez.
of
So I'm starting to get a feeling that like the Egyptian government is probably known about this, or maybe some older Egyptologists have probably known about this for a while, and it's probably the reason why a lot of sites have been like not allowed for public to actually go see, check out, and like new technologies on certain sites have been deemed just not allowed. You feel me? So I feel like this might have been something done, off of a very quick cusp so that they couldn't get stopped by the Egyptian government. Now it's probably going to be really, really difficult for, you know, teams to go in and get clearance to excavate and everything. But I saw some stuff this morning, that they have another presentation. Like all of this information that we're getting in this video here, this is like scratching the surface for real. Just kind of like getting everybody informed about what's going on because they're about to drop some long. I don't know if it's a docu series or some type of film footage to kind of give more context to the research that was done with this new device.
648 meters. Even more intriguing, at the base of these structures are two massive cubic formations measuring approximately 80 meters in diameter. The tomographic data suggests that these are vertical wells with intricate spiral pathways. Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I'm
That looks like what Tesla was missing, because the reason why Tesla's initial shot at replicating the pyramids as energy source failed was because it seemed like it couldn't take what it was trying to do, right? And it seems like a base like this up under the pyramids would give either some type of grounding or storage source for all of that electricity from the ionosphere. So in that case, Tesla was definitely right. He just built it wrong, it seems.
I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative. But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible to say that the Egyptian civilizations that we understand, that we've been taught about, were responsible for building these structures. And it doesn't even end there. The radar analysis extends beneath the entire Giza plateau, revealing interconnected structures beneath not only the Great Pyramid of Giza, but also those of Khufu and Menkaure. The subsurface network
Serious?
reaches down to a staggering depth of approximately 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers. This
Two.
is not possible given the standard
Yeah.
historical and archaeological narrative given
So
to us about.
I thought beforehand that it was just the cylindrical structures that were going down that deep. So now it's more context being given that it's interconnected tunnels underneath the entire plateau, which I mean, leans to the thought of like the the forbidden or forbid the lost library. Um, you know, there's a lot of legends that have spoken on structures and knowledge up under the pyramids of Giza. So it's kind of hilarious that for some reason we haven't done any scans like this at all in the past 50 years of us having this kind of technology. But it's most likely, due to not being allowed to. And I think I'm going to look into it some more. But the group that probably did this was a little more freelance and probably didn't have, I mean, an extra amount of clearance, because I know actually saw a video very recently where a team went in and did research on the red pyramid and the bent pyramid, both in Egypt. Those were the first. Those are literally the first pyramids. Those are when they were still figuring out how to build pyramids, and they went and did scans on those and such like that. Um, but it's weird that like in those you can see that, like, you can see them going from style to style, bettering how they were building pyramids from the bent pyramid to the red pyramid. But then it's like, hold on, that's got to be a little bit away from the story, seeing as their next few pyramids they built 2 miles down. So they're definitely a little more advanced than what the bent pyramid shows. You know what I'm saying?
about ancient Egypt. Now,
At
I'm
least what we're told
hearing
about the bent
that there
pyramid.
is more to come. There is a 4-hour presentation that's going to be released by the research team. This is what I'm
Four
hearing.
hours,
That's going to
man.
go
We're
into
gonna have to
every
react to that
detail of their
live.
findings. This has essentially been a strategic release of incredible data ahead of time to get people interested. And I am more interested in this than basically anything else right now,
Yeah,
because this is
yeah.
by far the most provocative piece of evidence for not only a potential technological explanation for the purpose of the Giza complex, but it also provides the most extraordinary evidence for a pre-flood era civilization that was
Yeah.
flourishing in a way that we can scarcely comprehend. It's also possible that this spiraling cylindrical series of structures are staircases, and I can't help but think of the channeled writings of Thoth the Atlantean,
Mm-hmm.
the Emerald Tablets,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of a lost hall of records, a sacred hall of knowledge below the
That's what I
Giza
was.
Plateau. The hall
That's what I was talking about. Like that, we have writings older than like just about everything else in human history that are talking about things going on up under the pyramids of Giza. So it's like, you know, conspiracy theories and far fetched stories aside, this is the real deal, y'all. So it's time to kind of break down what we traditionally think of mainstream Egyptian history and start looking at the side of, you know, um, Mesopotamia was really smart. You feel what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that somewhere, some way, throughout all of this research, it's just a hunch. Don't quote me on it. It's just a hunch. But I feel like they're gonna find some type of Mesopotamian connection to what they found up under the pyramids of Giza. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong because Mesopotamia was wiped out furiously, but they were also the smartest humans to walk the earth. We still haven't beat Mesopotamia in brains yet. I don't think so. So
halls of Amenti. Could this be the lost hall of records from the pre-flood era? Now, obviously, this discovery is extremely controversial. It runs as a complete
well,
contradiction
yeah.
of the established narratives and status quo in mainstream academia on these issues. This will cause big waves throughout the academic and the wider world if they can fully evidence these findings. But the results so far seem pretty clear. There is obviously significant structural engineering taking place deep below the pyramids and the Giza Plateau in general. Has this changed your mind on the pyramids? Has this strengthened your position on what they might have been? Has this new discovery given you any new ideas about what the implications are? Let me know in the comment section below. And honestly, everyone, share this far and wide. This is
Yeah,
such
no. Tell your friends about it. Tell your mom about it. Tell your auntie about it. They have found 2 mile deep cylinders up under the freaking pyramids of Giza. Um, science hasn't found any new. I mean, no. We did launch the James Webb Space Telescope a couple years ago. That was a big feat for human progress. We're able to see a lot older into the universe, which is really great. It's really cool. But I feel like this is a little bit because like when you're looking out in space, you end up with more questions. Like most of the time, you end up with more questions than you do answers to the questions you had before. That's just astrology for you. I used to want to be an astrophysicist when I was younger, and it was just the math that took me out of it. But looking at old relics here, we're gonna have the ability to do carbon dating. We're gonna have the ability to see what materials were used to build this and give us more context to the technology and the lives that were being lived way back then. and hopefully help us figure out how to get to a better time of peace in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the more we understand who we are, the harder it is to let little lines like race or age or location kind of divide us so much when there's bigger things going on. So if you got some value out of this video, if you didn't know about this beforehand, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and that bell icon. Again, all of those tells the YouTube algorithm that this is good quality content, needs to get pushed further. And share this with a friend. Don't hoard this knowledge. Everybody needs to know about this. All right, I love y'all. Make sure you're kind to somebody today. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.